to grow a crop. Let's go to Brett in Indiana. Brett, welcome to our program tonight. Go ahead. Brett, are you there? I think we lost Brett. Okay. Let's get back to that, whether it's soybean cyst nematode or whatever.
Root knot was the other issue that was brought up, and that's something that I know.
Well, yeah, root knot has many of the same properties, if you will, of cyst. That resistance is totally different, but many of the procedures that are being applied now are just the same. And it's a problem more in the southern United States in the sandier type of soils, but again, being able to do marker selection, the approach with RNA interference is being advanced in that area. So I think there are real opportunities that we should be very optimistic that in the very near term there are going to be a lot of new alternatives available to us.
I just had one more thing. You mentioned it, and it is true. The major source of cyst resistance is PI 88788. That's what's ubiquitous. However, there are other resistant genotypes, the 437654 and others, that along with the resistance, they bring some less than desirable traits in terms of productivity and other things. But with the proper DNA marker technology, you can eliminate the undesirable traits that are brought along with the desirable genes for resistance, in this case to SCN. And that's certainly something that will be addressed as a result of this huge number of DNA markers that we can suddenly develop and deploy.
Brett called back. Hi, Brett. How are you?
Good evening. How are you gentlemen doing?
Good. Go ahead.
My question is, perfect growing season scenario, where do you want to see those conventional beans, no-till bean situation, and 15-inch rows?
Could you repeat your question again, please? Brett? Okay, I wasn't sure quite what his question was. He's got into the different conventional no-till and row width.
I mean, that's an area where we are working with the Best Management Practice Project that the checkoff has, and farmers will see a yield. They will see a yield increase from 7-inch spacing to 15-inch spacing. That has been proven. But that also all depends on your area, whether Indiana is one of those areas that it works in. Like I said before, farmers should definitely try some best management practices throughout their farm each year just to see what finally works and what works for them.
Rick, as I've been thinking about this and listening to this, it dawns on me that sometimes when we have something that is working, we tend to take it for granted, and whatever that is. And in this case, some of the accomplishments that have already been reached in soybean production. And we're so focused on the next thing and what we want and the next problem we have to deal with, we forget how far we've come. In other words, when you're looking at the value of the investment of checkoff dollars, a lot of the things we have now, you can already say, hey, we've accomplished this because of those investments, and this gives us that the position then to move forward and to do even more in the future. But we can see results already, can't we?
Yeah, there's been a lot of checkoff results. The checkoff's got a ton of results, and just not even in the production side of it. In the new uses side of it, we're looking at, if you're driving a new Ford right now, you're looking at soy foam in most of your Ford seats. If you're driving around the field in your John Deere, in your combine or tractor, many of the poly panels now are made out of a soy poly. So in the new uses, we're making great success. And one great success the soy checkoff can hang its hat on is biodiesel. Hopefully, many of you are using biodiesel in your diesel vehicles or in your tractors or trucks. That's just one of the small areas. In the domestic marketing area, we've had other great successes with coming out with low-lin and bringing that to the soy food industry to combat with the trans fat issue.
Dr. Cregan, we talked earlier about where we go from here. What do you see as the next step, the next immediate step we go with this now?
Well, I guess, as I said, the project it's a full-time project with this Dr. David Heighton in our lab is analyzing this whole soybean germplasm collection and then getting together with a number of folks and determining where we go from there. And we're interested particularly in yield and how to use that information in terms of yield improvement. And then for any number of other collaborators who we'll be working with. That's one of the virtues of this checkoff system, is that we have the whole group for many different, whether it's SCN or rust or low-lin or oil quality, if you will. We're so intimately associated as a result of this work that it all fits together.
Let's try to get one more call in tonight. John in Indiana. Go ahead, John, real quick.
Yes, I was wondering if the soybean checkoff has done any research and development on the sudden death syndrome that we have in soybeans in southern Indiana.
All right, John. Rick, SDS.
Yep, STS is one of the areas that we're working on. STS is a little more difficult than some of the other diseases problems that we have because it's really tough and difficult to reenact in a greenhouse. And to try to find SDS in the field every year is a little tougher. So to try to really reenact the same scenario that a farmer will see is a little more difficult, but we're funding many projects. North Central Soybean Research Program is also funding projects with sudden death syndrome. So it's an area we're definitely working in. It's an area that the area seems to be growing each year.
So much of this is really a collaborative effort, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, we work when the national checkoff works with North Central, which is northern states that are combined, and then they also have a southern soybean research program, and we also have joint projects with that area also. So we're combining to look at the industry as a whole.
Again, we remind people that you can go to the website www, see this right there on the screen, .unitedsoybean.org, and check out that production research guide. And Rick, what do you want to leave with folks watching tonight about the soybean checkoff and what you are doing with those dollars to help soybean growers?
Well, we actually really have some really exciting news that just came forward here at our last February board meeting. And every 5 years, the checkoff conducts a return on investment study. And this year's return on investment study has brought forward to us that for every dollar the soybean farmer has invested in the checkoff, it's bringing back to them a $6.40 return.
Oh, repeat that again. That ROI there, that's a good one.
The return on investment, like I said, for every dollar the American soybean farmer invested in the checkoff, it's brought them back a $6.40 return either through production research or marketing.
Wow. So when a soybean farmer says, what am I getting for those checkoff dollars? You can show them, you can tell them, right?
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of success stories, and the return on investment study definitely proves that we're making definitely great strides in the soybean industry.
And with this announcement of the sequencing of the soybean genome, it's like another door is open, and even the potential for even more exciting results in the future are there.
No, we're definitely, the sequencing the soybean genome is just one area that we're really excited about, and that's why we're bringing this to the American soybean farmer tonight. And like I said, we're hoping for great strides from Dr. Roger Boerma and Dr. Perry Cregan to just keep bringing us great projects and letting the checkoff continue to have great success stories.
Thank you all very much for being with us, Rick Stern, as well. Thank you for being with us. Hope you've enjoyed learning more about the sequencing of the soybean genome and very exciting news for soybean growers. Thanks for joining us here tonight on RFD-TV Live. I'm Mike Adams. Have a good evening and a good year ahead, everyone.